The receptionist's voice cut sharply through the crowded lobby. "Ma'am, you can't bring a child into an interview." Heads turned. At the center of the awkward silence stood Emily, a young single mother clutching a folder of resumes in one hand and her 4-year-old son's tiny fingers in the other. Her boy, Jacob, clung to her leg, his wide eyes filled with confusion as if sensing the sting of rejection in his mother's trembling posture. Emily's face flushed crimson. She had spent her last few dollars on the bus ride across town, rehearsed answers late into the night and begged the babysitter to stay, but the sitter had canceled last minute. She faced the impossible choice: miss the interview or bring her child. She chose hope. Now, that hope was unraveling in the receptionist's cold stare. "Next candidate, please," the woman called. Emily gathered Jacob in her arms, ready to retreat into another day of disappointment. But fate had other plans. Emily's journey hadn't been easy. Just 2 years earlier, her husband had walked out, leaving her with unpaid bills, an eviction notice, and a baby still in diapers. Nights were spent folding laundry for neighbors, scrubbing floors at the local diner, and applying for jobs in between. She was tired, but never beaten. What kept her going was Jacob, the little boy who smiled even when life gave them nothing. This interview was supposed to be a chance. The company was one of the fastest-growing firms in the city, and the role promised stability, benefits, and the opportunity to finally build a better life. She had ironed her only blazer and tied her hair back with the same ribbon she wore in high school. She was ready to fight for this. Instead, she was being dismissed before she even sat down. Just as Emily turned toward the door, it swung open. A tall man in an unassuming gray suit walked in, his presence commanding yet quiet. He paused, taking in the sight: the flushed mother, the squirming child, and the stiff receptionist trying to move things along. The man's eyes softened. He saw not a disruption, but a story. It was Michael Harrington, the CEO himself. A self-made millionaire, he had built the company from scratch after starting with nothing but an old laptop in his garage. Most employees knew him as the man upstairs, distant, legendary. Yet here he was, standing in the lobby at the exact moment Emily was being turned away. "What's happening here?" Michael asked calmly. The receptionist stammered, "Sir, this woman, she brought her child to an interview. It's highly unprofessional." Michael's gaze shifted to Jacob, who was fidgeting with a toy truck pulled from his mother's bag. He smiled, almost wistfully. Few knew that Michael himself had grown up with a single mother, who often dragged him to her night shifts, her lectures, and even a few desperate job interviews. He remembered coloring in waiting rooms while his mom pleaded for a chance to prove herself. Michael turned back to Emily. "Come with me," he said simply. The receptionist's jaw nearly dropped as Emily was escorted straight into the executive conference room. Jacob trailed beside them, his tiny sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. Emily's heart pounded, not with fear, but with disbelief. Michael gestured for her to sit. "Tell me about yourself," he said, as if the chaos outside had never happened. Emily swallowed hard, smoothed her folder, and began. She spoke about her background in accounting, her years of experience balancing ledgers for small businesses, and her hunger to learn. She spoke about resilience, about pushing through setbacks, and about teaching herself software skills late at night after Jacob had gone to sleep. Her voice cracked only once, when she admitted, "All I want is a chance to show that being a mother doesn't make me less capable. If anything, it's made me stronger." Jacob, oblivious, drew circles on a notepad Michael had slid his way. Each crayon stroke felt like a prayer being answered. The climax came when Michael leaned back, folded his hands, and said, "Do you know why I stopped you in the lobby?" Emily shook her head, bracing herself. "Because I was that child once," Michael said softly. "My mother brought me everywhere because she had no choice. People laughed at her, dismissed her, called her unprofessional. But she was the hardest worker I've ever known. Everything I built is because she never gave up. When I saw your son, I saw myself." Emily's eyes blurred with tears. She bit her lip, holding Jacob's hand under the table. Michael's voice grew firm. If this company cannot embrace someone with your courage and determination, then it doesn't deserve to grow. You're hired, not in spite of being a mother, but because you are one. For the first time in years, Emily let herself breathe. Word spread quickly through the company about what had happened that morning. Some employees whispered, some cheered, but all of them saw a new example of leadership. Emily wasn't just given a job, she was given dignity. Over time, she thrived. Her late nights of studying paid off, and she streamlined processes that saved the company thousands. She became not just an employee, but a mentor to others, especially to young mothers who feared their family responsibilities would hold them back. In Jacob, he grew up watching his mom fight battles with quiet strength and walk into rooms where others once tried to shut her out. The story of Emily and the CEO wasn't just about one job. It was about rewriting what it means to be professional, about seeing humanity instead of inconvenience, and about recognizing that resilience often wears the face of a parent holding a child's hand. Life rarely presents itself in neat, perfect circumstances. Sometimes opportunity knocks at the very moment you feel least prepared. But strength isn't found in hiding your struggles. It's in carrying them with courage, even when the world misunderstands. The next time you see someone juggling responsibilities, ask yourself, are they less capable, or are they already proving a strength we fail to recognize? Because sometimes, the most extraordinary candidates are the ones walking in with a child by their side.